Originals.
That's Bob the Dream Machine. Don't press that button. Incredible. What up? It's me, Russel Hobbs, with the Gorillaz podcast. Welcome to Things I Like. Today, we have
Pos from De La Soul.
And Pos has been with us for a long time. Welcome to the podcast. So, how'd you get hooked up with Gorillaz?
Mutual friends. You know, a friend of ours was just, a couple friends actually, was just like, hey man, you know who the Gorillaz are? And we was like, yo, definitely. You know, like, we love what they're doing, you know. The vibe is amazing.
Yeah.
And they was like, well, would you be interested in trying to like get up and, you know, meet and put together some songs? And we was like, sure, why not? That's just always De La's attitude, man. We was like, you know, try something different,
right.
Go into something with, you know, and try to make something of value out of it with no preconceived notions. We was like, of course. And here we are, like family, you know, when you fast forward to now.
Love it.
So now lay down to rest and wait for the morning hangover to come. Clocks on the walls, the watches on the wrist. It's the moments we relive. It's the moments like this when it's time to get ill. We be so ahead of time. It's the moments we achieve. Best believe it's the moments.
I bet. You know, it's all coming up to the 30th anniversary of De La. You know, of you being the amazing De La Soul. I'd love to know the 5 things you would tell your younger self if you ever met him in some crazy space-time continuum.
Wow. Me, myself, and I.
I want to start with girls.
I would probably tell my younger self, you're going to have some fun and let it roll. Definitely want to make sure he wore a little bit more condoms, you know.
Prophylactic.
Not mad at the children I had, but, you know, caught a couple of crabs here and there. So condoms, definitely.
Yeah.
But fun, I would just let them know. I would actually tell them to try to get more.
What?
Because, you know, I didn't know I could go there the way I did.
Dip your toe in.
When I look back, you know, I'd be like, wow, I could have went a little bit, I could have pushed the envelope a little bit more. So I would tell them to push the envelope.
Get stuck in.
That LL tour was amazing. You should have had that orgy with Eazy-E. You know what, let me not say names because maybe they don't want their names out there.
Don't say no names.
But
Right. So, what does the younger you need to know about starting out on things like publishing? Like, what is publishing? What does it mean?
Publishing is pretty much for artists. It can be like your social security, you know, really, when you think about it.
Sure.
You know, it's not a normal job where we just work and money's being saved and you can turn around. I mean, you should be trying to save your money, basically. But, you know, that is something that could possibly supply you with what you need monetarily for your life. So my younger self, I would definitely make sure he would understand that, you know, this deal you about to sign with this label Tommy Boy, like, talk to your lawyer to get this publishing right. You know, so you don't have to spend maybe third album in fighting for what you deserve and stuff like that. Definitely.
All right, okay, moving on to piece of advice number 3 for the younger you. Recording. So if you're speaking to your younger self, what is it? How do you get the best out of it?
I would definitely tell my younger self to follow some simple rules that Prince Paul actually taught us, which was have fun in the studio and always allow everyone in the room to get their idea in, you know, and then make something from it, because that has served us well. So without question, I would make sure he didn't change that.
Right.
But to definitely pay more attention in the studio. I mean, it's great to have this creative aspect of yourself, but to then also pay attention to everything that the engineer is doing that you can learn from. You know, I think 3 Feet High and Rising to this day is an amazing testament, is an amazing album, but I think it sounds like crap. We mixed like 3 songs and 4 songs in a day. You know, and Paul was really cool about, oh, that sounds good. Let's move on. But I would tell my younger self, tell Paul to sit the fuck down and let's mix these albums, mix these songs way better than we did. Because that shit sounds like crap. When DJs try to play it up against someone else's music, like Tribe or whatever, it sounds muddy and like it was recorded in like a frog hole or something.
Frog hole.
So yeah, I would make sure he recorded it better.
So, would you say spend more time on the final aspect of the product?
Yeah. Just the whole recording aspect of these samples, everything you're taking, you know, make sure that you're getting the best quality, the best sound that you can out of them.
Yeah.
You know, definitely.
Got you.
And make sure that Tommy Boy was cleaning them goddamn samples. I'll make sure he knows that shit too.
What do you mean by that?
You know, we handed in stuff, and Tom Silverman didn't think that this first album, he loved it, but he had no idea it was going to sell millions of copies. He just thought it was going to sell 3,000 copies in New York or something. And hey, we'll make sure they put out another album. And it sold so many copies that, Steely Dan and everyone else was like, yo, that's my record. You know what I'm saying? So I would make sure that they cleared them goddamn samples.
Let's talk touring. Is it what it looks like? Because it looks like a lot of fun, man.
It was fun, definitely, for De La, because we embraced traveling. We loved it. We didn't just think to ourselves, yo, let's just only go to London. We wanted to go to Brighton and everywhere else. So the aspect of that and seeing different things and just having it be affirmed to yourself that, wow, like I'm a Long Island guy from New York, but this person over here loves what I'm doing as well in Manchester. And, and that connection, it's nothing like it, man. It's amazing. So that aspect, I wouldn't have him change. I mean, I really, honestly, for me, as beautiful as it's been for us, it's not much I could tell him because I think we embraced it well and we gained a lot of positiveness out of it. Just taking care of yourself a little bit better on the road, making sure you went to bed on time and not always partied at all the parties because you wanted to see much and, you didn't get worn out. Yeah, I would let him know, make sure you were on point with that.
Oh, I get it. Kind of pace yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
And say yes to everything, try to edit.
It's hard to say, honestly, because looking back, doing all these interviews with the biggest magazine, the In-Between magazine, and a college magazine, it led to the success. Coming into a town and then sitting in some, banquet room, and it's a whole bunch of press people trying to get at us at the same time. But then when you get to sound check, there's people that you got to do an interview with. But then afterwards, all that led to the success of 3 Feet High and Rising. So I couldn't tell him not to do it.
Gotcha.
I really couldn't tell him not to do it.
Do it. Don't do it. Awesome, man. Thanks. And finally, number 5, merch. Swag, steez, smutter, clothing, cloth. I know you love your threads, my man. Any advice there?
I mean, there's a bunch, man, but we had fun with it. I mean, I wouldn't try to tell my younger self, you know what, when you wore this particular bell-bottom farmer suit at New York Seminar, don't do that. It worked, man, and it's cool that I didn't have people like Speech from Arrested Development and all these other different groups be like, you know what, that inspired me.
Gotcha.
So I couldn't tell him to not do it because it really affected how other people saw themselves and made them feel comfortable. I'm sure, it could reaffirm for someone like a Andre 3000, like, yo, I can break out of my shell and be who I need to be. So I wouldn't make those I wouldn't wear that shit today, but yeah. But I think where we were experimenting and how we were just having fun with dressing, I wouldn't change it.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, is there anything the younger you needs to know that I haven't mentioned before he sets out on the long road of life?
I would honestly let him know to try his best to spend more time with his family.
Gotcha.
I mean, the success that we've been blessed to have has taken us everywhere. Even now when we can be away, but a lot of times when my younger self was home, my head was still in the lane of, all right, but what's next? Let me write the next best rhyme. Let me put together the next best song. Let me call Q-Tip and do this. And then my young daughter is sitting there and having fun with me, but I could have been taking her places where that was better for her, her environment. I mean, my oldest daughter was in the studio. Like, I had her in my hand when I made Balloon Mind State, and she came up seeing Mos Def and Tip and us in the studio making Stakes Aside, which was great for her. But I just feel like all my kids afterwards, I could have done a lot more while I was home with them, and I would make sure that he realized that.
Yeah. All right, cool, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you, man.
Peace to you. Thanks for listening to Gorillaz Podcast with Deezer. Now get out. That was funny. I'm talking about the Cool Clown Clan. Hardly to step out for a fresher breath of air after that.
Deezer Originals.